Good morning, Pomfret. Your first chapel speaker has 2 pet goats. Your second chapel speaker is Pomfret's best FIFA player. And your third chapel speaker used to have a bowl cut. Your chapel speakers today are Audrey Heidt, Mark Gang, and Georgie Blanchard. Enjoy.
Good morning, Pomfret. The first thing that hits me when I step off the ferry is the smell of the salt in the air. Seagulls call out overhead, and the sound of people talking mixes with the crash of the waves. That moment has always felt like home to me. I grew up on Martha's Vineyard, and for as long as I can remember, life there has moved in 2 very different ways. Months of quiet, then months of chaos. In the winter, the island almost shuts down. The beaches are empty, the roads are quiet, and the air feels heavier somehow. Stores close for the season, and the few ferries that still run remind us of how far away the mainland really is. The stillness can be nice at first, but after a while, it starts to feel lonely. One winter, a huge snowstorm hit, and my family and I couldn't leave the house for hours. The snowplows on the island are all volunteers, so it takes a while before they reach everyone. Lots of people lost power that day. No lights, no heat, no Wi-Fi. Luckily for us, our generator came in handy. On those days, we just sat there wrapped in blankets with the occasional trip outside to be in the snow. Then we would have movie marathons, watching any movie that came to head. Outside, everything was quiet, not even the sound of cars or wind. It was strange, but in that silence, there was also peace. It reminded us of how simple things can bring comfort when everything else slows down. Those long winters made my friends and I have to learn how to invent our own fun and how to find peace when things feel still. Some days, we would go sledding down icy hills with old sleds from when we were kids. Other days, we'd sit by a fire, talk for hours, or watch movies together, valuing each other's company. Those quiet nights taught me the power of small moments, that even when life feels frozen, there's always warmth somewhere if you look for it. Then summer would come and everything changed. It felt like the whole island came alive overnight. The roads filled with the cars, and the beaches filled with people, and every restaurant had a line out the door. What once was silent turned loud and full of life again. One of my favorite summer memories is dock dance. A local band plays on a big dock in town, and all the kids, local and summer visitors, come together to dance. The lights reflect on the water, and everyone sings along even if they don't know the words. Afterward, we all walk through town getting ice cream or just hanging out. Those nights always felt endless. Summer on the Vineyard taught me something different. How to stay calm when everything else feels out of control, how to adapt when things get busy, and how to find joy in chaos. Between the silence of winter and the rush of summer, I learned balance. That balance between quiet and chaos has shaped me to be who I am. It prepared me for one of the biggest changes in my life so far, leaving the Vineyard to come to Pomfret. The night before I left, I felt 2 very different emotions. I was excited and scared all at once. I couldn't wait to meet new people, to have more opportunities, and to live with friends my age, but I was also scared. Scared to leave my home, to start over, and to lose the people who had always been a part of my life. Coming to Pomfret was like stepping into a completely new world. I didn't know anyone at first, and everything felt unfamiliar. I worried I wouldn't find the same close connections I had on the island, but it didn't take long to realize that Pomfret had its own kind of community, one that reminded me of home in a lot of ways. Slowly, Pomfret started to feel like home too. I participated in new activities, made friends, and found teachers and coaches who supported me both inside and outside the classroom. This made me realize that sometimes growth happens when you put yourself in places that scare you at first. One of the best moments of my time here is when our soccer team won the Class C championship. We had worked hard all season through losses, injuries, and tough practices, especially the ones where we would stay out past dark. There were times when doubt took over, but we never stopped trying. When the final whistle blew, all the work, all the long days, and all the challenges were worth it. It wasn't just about winning a game, it was about the growth we made along the way. That moment made me realize something important. Belonging doesn't come from where you start. It comes from what you give and share with the people around you. Pomfret has become another version of home for me, one that has given me so much: friendship, opportunity, and confidence. Looking back, I can see how both places, Martha's Vineyard and Pomfret, have shaped me in different ways. The Vineyard taught me how to be patient, reflective, and strong when things are quiet or hard, and Pomfret taught me how to connect, lead, and grow when life gets busy and full. Now, as I start to think about the next chapter, I realize that growing up isn't about leaving places behind. It's about carrying them with you. The lessons, the memories, and even the hard moments. They all stay with you, and they become a part of who you are. Wherever my future leads me, both sides of my story will come with me. The quiet strength I learned during those long vineyard winters, and the energy and connection I found in Pomfret's busy, full days. Life will always have both calm and chaos, stillness and noise. The key is to keep finding the balance between the two. And when things start to feel overwhelming, I'll think back to that ferry dock, the salty air, the sound of seagulls, and the feeling of stepping into something new. And remember that home isn't one single place. It's something you build and carry with you wherever you go. So if you're ever wondering about what's next, remember that wherever life takes you, bring a piece of who you are. Take what each place, each experience, and each challenge gives you and use it to grow. Because home doesn't stay behind, it grows with you. And now on to my thank yous. To my mom, thank you for always being my biggest supporter and for believing in me even when I didn't believe in myself. You've taught me what strength and love really looks like. To my dad, thank you for pushing me to work hard, to stay focused, and to never settle for less than my best. You've shown me the value of consistency and effort, and I'm so grateful for that. To my brother Ryan, thank you for always being there to make me laugh and for reminding me not to take everything so seriously. Even though you get on my nerves, there's no one else I'd rather grow up with. And to my advisor Pablo, thank you for always checking in, offering advice, and being someone I can count on throughout my time here. Your support has meant more than you know. To all my teachers who have guided me and believed in me, thank you for helping me grow, not just as a student, but as a person. To my friends here at Pomfret, thank you for making this place feel like home. To my roommate Landy, us having rarely talked last year made me skeptical of what I was getting myself into. I wasn't expecting us to click the way we did, and I love having you as a roommate, except for how much you sleep. To my closest friend Layla, thank you for always being by my side and for making every day better. You've been someone I've always been able to count on ever since my first couple days here, and I couldn't appreciate you enough. And finally, thank you to everyone who supported me along the way. Family, friends, coaches, teachers, and everyone who's been a part of this journey. I wouldn't be standing here today without all of you. My name is Audrey Heidt, and I'm a 2-year senior here on the Hilltop. Thank you.
Good morning, Pomfret. When I first came to Pomfret, I had no idea what I was walking into. I had just transferred from Westminster down in Simsbury, and yeah, on paper, they sound kind of similar. But trust me, it was a completely different world. New people, new campus, new energy, and honestly, I was nervous. At first, it really wasn't easy. I still remember my first day in the D hall, walking in with my plate, pretending like I knew where I was going, but really just scanning the room thinking, where do I even sit? Everyone already had their groups, people were laughing and catching up, and I just stood there for a second, trying not to look awkward. Eventually, I found a seat and ate quietly, and honestly, eating that meal alone wasn't too bad. It gave me a moment to breathe and take everything in. But classes, that was a whole other story. I thought I was ready until I sat down in advanced bio with Mr. Martin. Within the first 5 minutes, he was already going over the class expectations and said, "This is a college-level course." I remember thinking, okay, how hard can a college-level class really be? Then, halfway through the first week, he mentioned the summer homework. My brain just stopped. I had no idea there even was summer homework. Everyone else had already read the first few chapters. Meanwhile, I was still trying to remember what the difference was between a gene and DNA. Then he started throwing around words that I've never heard before, or maybe once, and assigned problems from a textbook I hadn't even bought yet. Our first lab, the banana lab, I got a low 80 on it, and when I figured the class average was pretty low, I realized, oh, what did I get myself into? That first month was honestly one of the most stressful times of my life. I was tired, overwhelmed, and constantly wondering if I was really cut out for this place. And then there was dorm life. I didn't know anyone except my roommate, Alex. I walked into the common room and everyone was already talking about sports, homework, or some Pomfret story that I didn't understand yet. For the first few weeks, I mostly kept to myself, trying to figure out how to fit in, how to start over, how to be part of this new world. But slowly things started to change. It began with small things. I started finding common ground with people in the dorm. A class project helped me connect with a few classmates. Dorm parents started knocking on my door just to check in. Little moments that didn't seem like much at the time, but together they started to feel like belonging. Looking back now, that whole period, the confusion, the discomfort, the awkwardness, ended up being one of the best things that could have happened to me. Because when everything feels unfamiliar, you're forced to grow. You're forced to open up, to try, to be brave. Pomfret became the place that gave me a second chance, not because I messed up the first one, but because it gave me space to reset, to start fresh, and to figure out who I wanted to be. And that second chance looked like more than just a new beginning. It looked like a community that actually cared. It looked like teachers who pushed me, dorm parents who made me laugh, and friends who made me feel seen. To my dorm parents last year, Mr. and Mrs. V, Ronnie, and Billy, you guys made Villa feel like home. Mr. V, your brain rot jokes with Troy definitely made me lose a few brain cells, but they also made every night brighter. Mrs. V, thank you for being the calm in the storm and somehow keeping all of us in check, which honestly is a miracle. Ronnie, you've been like a big brother to me, whether we were betting on NBA games for food or just talking about life. You made Villa more fun than I could have imagined. Billy, you were mostly in the common room with Taco Bell, just chilling and making everyone laugh. You didn't even have to say much. Just being there made the dorm feel alive. You guys made Villa more than a dorm. You made it family. To my teachers and coaches, thank you for pushing me and challenging me even when I didn't believe in myself. From long practices to late night study sessions, you taught me that real growth happens when you lean into discomfort and that effort always pays off in ways you don't expect. To Miss Marshall, thank you for being that light of positivity. On the days when I was tired or stressed, your office was always the one place where I could reset. You had this way of reminding me to laugh, even when I didn't feel like it, and that meant a lot. To my friends, especially Mike, it's wild that we started as freshmen together at Westie and somehow ended up seniors together at Pomfret. I'm glad we reunited, and let's keep up the good work and finish strong. Bill and Tay, just because you guys asked for a shout out, thanks for being there all the time for me. I really appreciate it. And of course to my family. 엄마, 크면서 잔소리도 많이 듣고 윤서랑 나 때문에 힘들었던 거 알아. 그래도 그런 힘든 시기마다 항상 최선을 다해줘서 정말 감사해. 아빠한테 배운 것도 많고 엄마, 아들 셋 키우느라 힘들지만 장남으로서도 잘하고 엄마 힘들 때 많이 도와줄게. 사랑해. To my brothers, Roy, we've been arguing and fighting since forever, and somehow we still managed to put up with each other. I really do care about you, even if I never say it. And no, you're still not better than me at FIFA. Ian, my baby brother, I don't even know if you can understand all this English yet, but because of you, my life's become more joyful and sometimes more painful. You're a pain sometimes, but I love you more than Roy, just so you know. Now, as a 2-year senior on the hilltop, I can say Pomfret has changed me in ways I didn't expect. It taught me that second chances aren't just about starting over, they're about choosing to grow even when it's uncomfortable. So if you get that second chance, whether it's a new school, a new season, or just a new beginning, embrace it, because you never know who you might become on the other side of it. My name is Mark Gang, and I'm a 2-year senior on the hilltop. Thank you, Pomfret.
Good morning, Pomfret. I still vividly remember the first time I gave a speech in front of an audience. In 3rd grade, our class was assigned to write a speech surrounding a picture book of our choosing. We even had to dress up as the story's main character for our presentations. For my book, I chose Stella Luna, a story about a young bat who loses her way and ends up being raised by a family of birds. I chose Stella Luna because of the book's message to accept yourself for who you are and to celebrate the differences that make each of us unique. The day of the speech arrived, and I sat in the front row of the theater, anxiously awaiting my turn. I kept going over my speech while fidgeting in my leotard that my mom had spray painted tan with bat wings hot glued onto the back the night before. Finally, it was my turn. I hopped out of my seat and I laid my papers on the podium, and when I looked into the crowd, I spotted my mom and my dad with massive smiles on their faces, and then I began. Throughout my speech, I kept glancing to the crowd, making sure I wasn't just staring down at my paper. But something was off. Each time I looked into the audience, they weren't looking at me. They seemed fixed on something just to my left. It wasn't until after my speech, when I was listening to the person who went after me, that I realized what everyone was looking at: the interpreter. Growing up with a deaf mom has always been normal to me. In my eyes, she didn't have a disability, she was just my mom. This was the first time I'd ever felt weird and different. Most people just stand out with the color of their hair, the sports they play, where they grew up, and a bunch of things that are seemingly normal ways to stand out. Standing out because I had a deaf mother was not the defining factor that I wanted to make me unique. I never met anyone else with a deaf mother, so instead of feeling like I was distinctive and special, I felt isolated and detached. I didn't want having a deaf parent to become my defining factor. This started a long interval of me trying to hide this part of my identity. In public spaces, I rarely talked to my mom, shooing her away when she had a question, and telling her everything was fine when she didn't know what someone said to her. I stopped talking about the deaf community in school, and I did everything I could to avoid the stares of others. At that time, I thought that detaching ASL and the deaf community from my life would make me normal. When I came to Pomfret, my desire to be normal intensified. Now it was more than just ASL. Whatever I thought would be abnormal or weird for me to enjoy, have, or be, I hid it from the greater community. I refused to start up an ASL club, I didn't want to sign in front of anybody, and I just wanted to go out my day quietly without being noticed. When winter break rolled around, I felt I had successfully finished the fall term. I had a small group of friends, and I never attracted any attention that I thought was negative. Throughout the fall term, I remember getting pushed by my advisors to engage more, and my end-of-term comments were all pretty much the same. Very quiet, does good work, but could participate more. My refusal to participate definitely irritated my parents, so it was also that winter break my mom and I got into an argument. She explained to me that by ignoring her and dismissing her comments, it did more than just silence her, but it also hid my identity. After seeing her pain because I failed to consider her needs over mine, I began to mend the relationship I had broken. When I returned to school, I reached out to more of my teachers, I tried to make new friends, and I didn't hide the essential parts of myself by remembering the lessons I had learned from Stella Luna. Now in my senior year, I run the ASL club, I find joy in sharing my ideas and thoughts, and for the most part, I don't fear the stares of others. This is definitely a process I'm still working on now. To accept yourself for all that you truly are is definitely much more easier said than done. Thankfully, I didn't have to undergo this journey alone. I want to thank all of my teachers and coaches who have helped me come out of my shell and learn that asking for help isn't a weakness. I want to thank my advisors for helping me grow in every way possible and providing me with many opportunities. To Anna, you have been with me through thick and thin. When I hang out with you, I can never stop myself from laughing, and I'll forever miss our 7th grade advisory. To all my friends, your kindness and support are always qualities I can count on. You guys always know how to pick me up after a fall and make me smile when I need it the most. To Audrey, my best friend and my 3-year roommate, I don't know what it'll be like next year when I have to room with someone who's not you. I can only hope they'll be as talkative and as patient as you are, and I'll forever miss our late night talks and eating every meal together. To Annabelle, you are the greatest gift I've ever received. Sharing a room with you has definitely tested me at times, but there is no one I would rather tease Dad with. I know you will achieve many amazing things, so I hope you never lose the sight of the things that make you special. To Mom and Dad, you two are my very best friends and my pillars of strength, kindness, and gratitude. Dad, throughout every up and down, you make me laugh and know exactly what to do to make me feel better. You never stop fighting for me, and you always ensure I have what I need to excel. To Mom, you have taught me what it means to be a kind person inside and out. Regardless of our rocky road, you have given your all to Annabelle and me. Your strength through every hard time reminds me to never give up. My name is Georgie Blanchard, and I'm a 3-year senior here on the Hilltop.
Good morning, Pomfret. It feels like it's been a long time since we gathered here in the chapel with all of the busyness of our schedule over the last couple of weeks, and I have missed being here, listening to the words of our senior, and seeing all of your faces. So it's great to be back. I'd like to thank our seniors today, Audrey, for talking about how we carry the lessons that we've learned through different chapters in our lives into those future chapters and what we can take with us. To Mark, for thinking about the process of a new chapter and what that means in terms of finding your path to belonging and the growth that comes along with that. And to Georgie, for thinking about how we all need to work to accept ourselves for who we are and the strengths that come for the unique parts of us. So with gratitude, I will ask our seniors to lead us from the chapel.